Hi, Stephanie. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened. Let me invite you back up. We kind of started losing you and then it cut out. But we're back and people are coming back. Yay.
Can you?
Sorry about that.
Oh no,
Not,
no problem.
yeah.
So I guess I'll jump back to where we were,
Yeah.
talking about the factory and learning about how these guys are making the boards. And I think it takes something close to 90 hours for each board to be made, 24 skilled man hours. So
Wow.
it's pretty cool. They're all made here in Stewart by hand by guys we know. And I've gotten to learn so much about building boards, shapes, testing new things. So yeah, I have a new board. It's a 14 by 22 and a half Freedom. The Freedom is pretty much the all-water board. And, John's constantly making tweaks, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. And I am in love with my new board. It has a little bit softer rails than what we had before, and it is just, we call it butter. It just feels like butter.
Oh, that's so great. Well, I'm sure they greatly appreciate you because, again, you're a thinker and you like being involved with that kind of stuff and you like analyzing it. It's funny. Somebody said that we got cut because John didn't want the secret sauce out.
Oh, I love it. Okay,
Ha-ha.
I'll be quiet then. I'll be quiet.
No, I'm sure he told you could share and it's on social media, so I'm sure it's okay.
Of course. Yeah, no. No, I really have a new appreciation for what these guys do, having spent the time to understand, how these boards get made. It's really cool. So that's been an amazing experience for me, and I love that board. I'm waiting in line to get my downwind board, hopefully in time for Hood River, which I hope I can do. I know.
Well, I hope it happens. They haven't officially, well, there's the July one, but
the July, yeah. So
yeah.
I'm planning for July, and I'm hoping to stay on, and no matter what, just want to go there and be there.
I know. We all love it up there. Those of us who have been, if you haven't, it's a great destination and the most unique, I think, way of stand-up paddling to go downwind, upriver, riding waves is kind of crazy cool. And watch out for Mark Hewitt. He loves your board.
I know.
He might try to get it.
That's funny.
No, but such good stuff. Glad you're thrilled and things are going well. Super cool to hear about Flying Fish and what they're doing. That's great. How about some tips about, usually we ask people like if somebody was going to get into racing, but I'd love some tips for racers. Like what, I don't know if I won't get too specific.
Okay.
Anything in your analysis or something you would, going back now to 2000, when you started getting serious, what do you wish you knew before? What are some tips that you've learned over time and over?
Yeah, I think consistency in training is everything. We talk about, a lot of times you'll hear people say, well, I'm going to get in shape for this race. It's 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out. I think training that way is not hugely productive. Yes, you will get faster training for 6 weeks, go to your race, you'll be faster than if you didn't. But, when you think about especially elite level athletes in any sport, it's not even just a 1-year plan. It's a 4-year plan. It's a 5-year plan. It's a decade-long plan to get to the point where you have not only mastery from a skill perspective, but that your body has accumulated the miles to make you what you need to be. So that's something I didn't understand about training. When I first started, I would just show up to races. I'd be like, okay, there's a 10-mile race. Well, I did 6 miles last Saturday, so I'm good. And then and that just hurts. So I think the more I've trained, the more I realized you need the hours on the water. And that's been huge. And I've been really lucky. I've worked with, Michael Booth for a few years, and I've also learned a lot from a lot of other people. You've got the Paddle Ninja guys, you've got Paddle Monster, so there's all these a lot of people writing programs, and, a lot of them are good. And I think just consistently sticking with a plan through the course of a full year, not just 6 to 8 weeks, and, sticking with that, you'll see these results. And you might not feel like every workout's important, but I think Larry Kane said this, it's money in the bank every time. And so you just keep putting your pennies in, and all of a sudden you have a small fortune. So
I love that. What a great analogy. And that's so consistency and sticking with a plan. And I don't think I've heard anybody say that, but I could see being like a planner, like really thinking out multiple years. Fantastic. So How about something else about, I don't know, nutrition or stroke, or I know you know about lots of things.
For nutrition, I'll say I think plants are really important. So I think this has to be true for almost all people, but eat a lot of plants, a lot of variety of plants. It's great fuel. Yeah, you need to be focused on your protein and all of that, but that's easy, but I think just stay close to what's natural and unprocessed. And I think that you'll recover faster, you'll feel better, especially somebody who's older. I'm 45. Yeah, I know, right?
Hello.
Trying to be the 20-year-old. So, sticking with clean food that's close to nature is just what my body runs well on. But I'm not going to lie, I have fun. I eat, I drink, whatever I want, as long as I'm keeping the veggies coming.
There you go. That sounds really good. Yeah. Love that. You mentioned, well, how about one more tip? You got another one for us?
Yeah, give me a topic.
How about actually stroke or stroke technique?
Okay.
Or is there something in the last, was there an aha moment maybe sometime in that season?
There was probably, not since I've raced, so somewhere it took a long time to absorb this for me and to understand it, but we use our legs a lot in paddling. And the more I have been able to engage my legs, the faster I've gotten. And for anybody who's a weightlifter out there, if you like to deadlift, there's a thing called the wedge. And so this is going to go over most people's heads, but it's really just engaging into the lower legs. So I kind of I'm bent down a little bit, but I'm pushed forward. I think Larry calls it kind of ski boots, but it's not like you're falling so much. I know people talk about the falling, but I'm really engaged in a forward kind of thing, and I'm using my legs to generate a lot of the power, which is great, especially for women, because our legs are going to be stronger than our upper body anyway. And so you're just looking for the easiest way to get a lot of power without fatiguing your muscles.
I love that.
So thinking about using my legs has been a big part of improving for me in the last year or so.
Legs are essential. Totally agree. And something, I think it was Larry Kane who's talked about the flex in your ankles, right? Thinking about your ankles as a way to get your knees forward more over your toes in that moving forward, not falling, but getting, your legs in that position. But I mean, we're in full squats. I just did a crossing relay. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah. There was a lot of leg time. And I think it is totally neglected. Everybody thinks about that upper body stuff, but as we know, we want to engage all those big muscles, and your legs have got big muscles and just super important part of it. So great tips. Hey, it's funny you brought it up, because I've been ruminating on the whole masters thing, and I know you're pro and you belong in that category, but it's really interesting that now as we're getting looked at by others, more than looked at, there's other sports involved, from surfing and the kayak canoe, and age groups of different sports. I've heard if there's going to be one masters cutoff, I've heard people say 40. They've said 45. We have our winter series out here in Southern California is based on outrigger that has a lot of older people. So we have these little 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus. We have a lot of older age groups, but I really, I'm concerned about them going too young, because there's so many of you in your 40s that are still top of your game. And I think of the first one was Kelly Margetts.
Yeah.
In his 40s, he was in the top 10 at Battle of the Paddle Pacific Paddle Games. I mean, should he be moved into a master's category? Is it going to be by choice? I mean, and how do you feel about that? I was thinking you were early 40s. I didn't know you're 45.
Yeah.
I mean, you have an option. Is that good? What age would you pick?
I don't feel terribly strongly. I don't yet want to be a master, because I still feel like I have a lot to prove. The sport is young and I'm getting faster. So I want to prove what I can amongst the entire field. I do think it's appropriate. I don't know what the right cutoff is. Right now I feel like I should be, bunched with the 20-year-olds, and that's okay. But, maybe in 2 years I won't want to be, or maybe in 5 years I won't want to be. I just don't, I don't know yet. But I think it'll become more and more important as the sport gets bigger and bigger. So if we're, you know, going to have like world championships and we're going to have the different categories, I think that's where it will start to play a role. But we just don't have enough history in the sport, I think, for people to move into it. And then you're right. I mean, a lot of my best girlfriends, they're in their mid-30s, right? Some of the top women in the world. And it won't be long before they're 40, and I hope they're still paddling. So how are they going to feel, you know? And then all of a sudden we're going to have a super competitive masters category, right? If all of us, if you cut it off at 40, and then, you know, all those girls, you know, who are now in their mid-30s in 5 years or 40, that's going to be, you know, if they're still paddling, that's going to be really, really hyper competitive. So I don't know. I don't answer. I'm stumped.
It is interesting. So we're starting to see that come about, not just in the age group, but for instance, ICF had a world championship and they did have youth and masters, and they had 2 masters categories, 40 plus and 50 plus. Yeah. So it was interesting, but I'm sure we still had 40-year-olds in the pro open division too. So I guess at that point you just make that choice. But we have people going to up into their 70s still being really competitive. You know, there's some really fast people in their 60s and 70s, not in the pro world, but you know, should they be against 40-year-olds? Anyway, it's an interesting discussion to have, and I think we should keep having it. But I do feel like there's something about it being what I consider a strength limiting sport, not a cardio limiting, and it's that we have so many crossover athletes that used to be perhaps triathletes or marathoners, blew out their knees or their hips, but they can still get in the squat position and be, you know, and their shoulders haven't given out, so they can do it for much longer. So I think some of the impact sports, I see why they make masters 40, but I'm not sure I think that's too young for our sport. But anyway, we'll have to keep talking about it. And here you are. Kudos to you at 45 and still being top pro woman in the world.
Thank you.
Yay. So let's talk about what's coming up in future and what are you looking forward to? I know we're still iffy on what are you thinking? What races are you hoping to get to? We have Carolina Cup rescheduled for like the 3rd time. APP has events they've put out a schedule. Euro Tour put out a schedule. They've had to keep moving it a little bit forward, but
I've really wanted to get to Europe for multiple events, for Euro Tour events again, because I didn't really do that in 2019, and I want to do the APP again. It's just, we just don't know. And so even when they are hosting races, like I haven't even followed, you know, are we allowed to travel yet? You know, are Americans allowed into Europe yet? And I do feel like things will start, I'm hoping at least things will start to open soon. So I kind of feel like the fall will be a lot of racing and a lot of travel and a lot of racing.
Yes. The only problem is going to be there's going to be things on top of each other probably because everybody's so anxious to get back to it. I'm hoping the summer. They did actually just announce for us in the U.S. we can go to Europe with a vaccination, you know. But then like they want these events to be international and there's countries that can't. Canada's still not, with my understanding last time I checked, able to and super anxious to get out there and go too. So
it's tough. Flux, so I think Hood River may be one of my first, you know, big races, and some local races have been able to go off. We even had a really great one in New Jersey last summer. So you know, I will show up to anything I can.
Good, as you should. So you're a surfer, you're a sup surfer, you're a sup pro racer. There's been a lot of new stuff that, especially during the pandemic, people have gone off. And I know you're focused on racing, but have you tried any of the foil or the foil surfing or the wing or anything like that?
I have not. I actually dream about foiling. Like, I think it's just the coolest. It must be the coolest feeling in the world.
Flying.
I am absolutely terrified of like chopping my head off with the wings or with the foil. So I don't know when I will try it. I'll probably be in a full Kevlar suit. Like, you know, guys I know who are phenomenal watermen and waterwomen, you know, are getting stitches left and right. So I think there's no hope for me. So I don't know, but I love to go back to surfing, and it's something that's still on my bucket list of things to just keep working at and keep getting better at. So if and when I kind of slow down on the racing schedule, that's I definitely want to go spend a lot of time surfing.
Now you're significantly younger than me, so the 80s probably, you weren't into windsurfing? No, probably not.
I mean, it was around me a little bit. I didn't do it, but yeah, I know it was very popular when I was a kid, little kid. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I've thought of trying the wing only because I used to windsurf, so I have some wind knowledge. Not enough to be great at Hood River though, still, but that's what I love about Hood River. Always learning up there. Yeah.
Sure.
So places. So Hood River, probably one of the first. Where in Europe are some of the APP or Euro Tour races you hope to do?
So I think they're having one in Switzerland. I don't even know the location, but I'm sure it'll be beautiful. Paris is on again, as far as I know, in December, which was really fun. And the funny thing about Paris is we did the sprints in the pool, and I thought going into it, this is going to be the silliest thing I've ever done, and it was so much fun. So that was I'm actually looking forward to that again.
Yeah. You've mentioned the challenges of that because, we're both friends with Anthony Vela. He has really had to pivot based on location and what he's given.
Yeah.
Because, the narrow canal in London, a pool, and I respect that he's always somehow made it work. I know it's not always perfect.
I'm so impressed with his ability to make it work, make it fair, make it fun. Yeah, it's pretty impressive talent.
Somebody here actually asked about advice on starting a race league.
Oh, wow. Probably reach out to Jeremy Vane. That's going to be number one because I think he manages a lot of the Tuesday night stuff. Just put it out there. It doesn't have it be casual. Don't do awards. Don't do any of that. Have it be casual. They give out beer tickets at the end so we can all go to this place and have beer together afterwards. Make it fun. Pick a distance that people will come back week after week. So our race league has a short course and a long course. So the short course is 1 lap, and it's a little over 2 miles, and the long course is about 4.6, 4.7, maybe 4.5, we'll just say. And that's a nice distance because you can go hard, but you're not out there forever.
Yeah.
They hold it at 6 p.m., so it's after work for a lot of people. So you just want to make it accessible, easy, fun, and low key. That would be my advice.
Love that. That's great advice. And it always comes back to, no matter how much we love our racing, our time on the water, stand-up paddling, it is about community and people and the great people who are in paddling. So I think that's a huge part of a league. Besides that, all mixed up, I have to look at who that is, but that's who asked the question. There's a lot of us trying to get our open racing, our age group racing organized within the US. And some of those leagues are not just in place leagues, but linking together races. So there's something called the Southern Stokes Series. There's the Waterman League out of Kentucky, the Midwest Paddle Series. There've been some series that have come and gone, like Hobie's Hennessy's had a series, mostly in the West. So we're really hoping those of you who are race directors or thinking of it, think about linking them up in your area so that we can put it all together, and at some point have regional championships or national championships and stuff, because we need the whole pyramid. So there was a whole lot of growth. I don't know if you noticed it where you've been in the recreational paddleboarding. And again, you build the base and hope that people will come up to racing. Have you noticed some of that? Has that been a conversation in Florida at all?
I really noticed it when I was in California, when I was by you, because that was really during the height of the pandemic. I stayed with my mom 7 months out of the year last year, so most of the pandemic. And you couldn't find used boards anywhere. You couldn't find boards anywhere. And it was amazing to see all these people out on the water because it's one of the things you can do that's safe and fun and accessible. So I've definitely noticed it in California. So here it's hard for me to say what was before.
That's true.
There's a ton of paddlers. You see paddle boards everywhere in every garage, which is amazing. So it's a big community, and the water, there's so much water here. There's the coastal, you have these little canals and pockets. So there's so much water that's easy and accessible for people here. In Florida, you have the open ocean too, but you have a lot of protected water. So I think that also helps bring more people out.
Yeah. Well, I do think that so happy for you in Florida. That's one of the most amazing things about that state is how much water there is, and that you can go from intercoastal, and then go out and be in the waves, and true of some of the other parts too. So excited to see you again. Hopefully it will be in Hood River and or Carolina Cup. I'd love to say I'm going to get to Europe, but maybe not this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
So much going on, but it's been so fantastic to talk with you. So glad it's going so well. I hear you're in love too.
Yeah, Florida's full of surprises. It's wonderful.
Yay! Well, I wish you the very best. Hope to see you soon. I know you're going to just kill it when the season finally gets going. If we call it 21 and into 22, I'm not sure how they'll do all this, but excited that you're still with us and doing well in the stand-up paddle world. Lucky to have you, and thank you for sharing your knowledge and your stories. And again, Supconnect. We love doing these things on Thursday. Thanks for letting me chat with people. So much fun. Take care, Stephanie, and everybody who's listening. Thank you so much. Remember, this goes immediately to IGTV. I don't know what happened with that first half. Oh, hope we didn't lose it. But we also, whatever gets recorded will be on YouTube also soon after. And we have a Facebook group where you're going to send me a picture of your pups, maybe.
Okay, I will. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
And your Freedom board, although that was, I think, in quite a few of the pictures we used, huh?
Yeah.
Love those pictures. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Be well. Bye.